Shalom Alechem and welcome. Part of the series of the halachot on modesty that we are conducting lately needs to deal also with women heels. What's permitted and what's not. What's considered modest and what is not. There are few places that we found. First of all, in the Navi Yeshaya that speaks about the Churban HaBayit, that part of the reason of Churban HaBayit was the way the women dressed and attracted those that would see them. And then in the Midrashim and in Chazal. So let's see first in the words of Yeshaya, Perek Gimel, Pasuk is Tet Zayin, Ve'omer Hashem, the words of Hashem. Hashem is speaking about the reason of the Churban Bet HaMikdash, the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash. Yan ki gavu bnot Zion, v'telachna netuyot garon, they would walk with a certain gesture while they were around people, משקרות עיניים, they would look in a certain way with their eyes, הלוך ותפוף תלכנה, וברגליהם תעקסנה. תעקסנה means the מלשון ארס. ארס is poison. With their feet, they would put poison in the men that would be around them. This is how the Gemara explains them. All people that would be around them would be poisoned by the way they would walk. What does that mean? They would attract people with the way they walk. What does that mean? Women walk have a few things they need to pay attention to. The way they walk, it could be a certain way that a woman walks, especially with heels, that would attract those that would see her. Secondly, the way the shoe look, the color, the fashion, the style, and the height of the heels. All these things need to make sure that it's part of the tzniut and not passing and crossing the line of tzniut. So it says here with their feet, they would poison those that were around them. How? All the Mefarshim explain here with the sound of their steps. The Radak says, "Te'akasna bekashkeshot reglaim bakasim," which means they would make a certain sound with the way they walk. They would have also a certain bell or certain thing that would make also the sound with the shoes. This is how also the Malbim explains, "Bereglehem te'akasna metzalzelim le'ashmiya kol." Whatever it is, it means that it would make a sound, and that sound would go in like a poison. Te'akasna, Metzudat Zion says, inyan eres. It's a poison, and it's known that the Gaon Mivilna would tell his students and the people around him to make sure that no women would walk across his house where he could hear them walking because of the sound of the shoes walking that is attractive to men. Also, the Chazon Ish, whenever he would hear a woman walking, the steps, he would make a loud sound in order to avoid hearing it. Those are things that needs to be paid attention. This is more important, more relevant when we're dealing with heels, because heels have more of that sound. So the Gemara tells us on this. The Gemara says the following on the pasuk haloch v'tafof telachna. Chazal is doresh in Shabbat Samech Bet Hamud Bet, and Rashi brings down. The Gemara says shayu me'alchot aruka betzad ktsara, which means tall would walk near short. Rashi would say שהיו מלכות ארוכה בצד קצרה שתראה צפה על ראש חברתה ונויו לה. They would make sure to walk one lady higher and taller than the other. This way she would be more seen, she would be more emphasized and visible than the other. You would see the contrast between the two, and that would attract. So whenever a woman does something to stand out, that is a negative thing, because that attracts more attention. So they would wear higher heels to make that impression to people that would see them, which teaches us that heels have this effect that makes a woman look taller. And there are the sources that bring the same idea as well, that it's not a good thing, so much so that there's a story brought down in Gemara Avodah Zarah Yudchet Amud Aleph of Rabbi Hanina ben Tardion. His daughter used to walk, and whenever she walked outside and whenever she walked around the Rome people, they would praise her on the way she walks. They would say, "Wow, look how beautifully she walks," which emphasized that the walk of a woman has a certain beauty to it, and therefore it needs to be done in a more modest way. But when she heard that, she would make sure to step even to take smaller steps and walk more carefully in a more attractive way. And because of that, she was punished very, very severely. Anybody that wants to see it in the Gemara over there. So there's few things here that we're talking about: the sound of the heel. Secondly, the height of the heel, because it attracts people. So we're not talking, let's say, when a woman needs to go to a simcha, to a wedding, to a bar mitzvah, and they all dress the same way, because then she doesn't stand out more than others. Everybody dresses the same way if she does it modestly. But walking down the street on a regular day, going to work in such heels, which if it's not needed, if it's not required, if it is required, every person needs to know the boundaries, when it's okay and when it's crossing the line of being not modest. But it's the heels, it's the way she walks, it's the way she makes the sound, and the look of the shoe. The look of the shoe is also important, because it's also sourced in the Mefarshim. In Sefer Ma'arikra, he brings down in the pasuk, "Beraglehem te'akasna." What does it mean, te'akasna? Shayu olchot min'alehen metzuyarim, which means she would have certain shoes with certain colors on them that would attract the eye. So maybe today colors don't attract the eyes, but the other things in the shoe or in the heel that could attract the eye. There's certain pearls and certain diamonds, all kind of things that attract the eye. All these things need to be done with paying attention that it should not be something that's not modest. Each woman knows which thing is considered modest and nice, and even though it has a certain heel, not too high, it's accepted because it's just respectful and nice. And each woman knows which one is already attractive, which one draws the eye, which one draws attention, which one attracts people. And it's very easy to know, because as soon as you walk out of the house, you see how people look at you, and right away you can understand, is this something that's just respectful and nice, but still modest, or is it already crossing the line of being something that you should not wear?